Hey everyone, this is my 1978 Kawasaki KZ400B model. And this is a really disgusting, nasty, worn out sprocket. And this is a equally disgusting, worn out, nasty chain. Let's replace them both. Got this kit on eBay from a company called Caltrick. I'm going to pop it open and see if everything in there is what I need. Right, here's our chain. I don't know how many links I'm going to have to take out of it. I think they said they sent 120 links worth. We'll see. And this kit is supposed to be quite compatible with this bike. I'm still not totally sure if it is, but we'll see. They sent a new front sprocket, which I don't actually think I need to replace on mine because mine's in really nice shape. And here we have the rear sprocket, which is the biggest question mark of all, in my opinion, because I have to determine if it's the exact same number of teeth. Now, I could have counted them before I ordered it, but I was pretty sure it was the same number for some reason. So I'm just going to pop the rear sprocket off, compare them next to each other, and we'll see. So let's get to popping that rear sprocket off, which is probably the hardest part of this whole job. So first of all, this nut's going to have to come off here, so I'm going to have to pull this cotter key out. Well, it looks like the exhaust is in the way, so I guess I'm going to have to take that off. On some bikes, the axle, bolt, and nut will slip past the exhaust, but not this one. Not going to fit. Alright, so on both sides, the exhaust should have a support bolt here. And I think that small amount of wiggle right there is going to give me enough clearance to get this bolt out. There we go, it's coming out. Okay, so as this comes out, your chain tensioner here is going to slide out, as already is on this actually. And then the next thing that'll slide out is this spacer here. Looks kind of like a thread spool or whatever. Don't lose that. It's easy to lose that when you slide the bolt out. So let's get the bolt. Okay. Spool just fell out, but I got it. There we go. Now I'll take out this other chain tensioner. And then I like to slide everything back on the axle in the order it came. So it was all organized like this, so I'm not going to forget where it all goes. Now hopefully I can get this out without taking apart the rear brakes, but sometimes you just can't. Brake hub feels like it's stuck too. So, let's see. So I'm gonna have to get out the lower brake torque link. Let me show you guys that. Down here, it's this right here, and pull that out and take the bolt and nut out. Okay, the lower torque link is now free, and the brake hub just slid right out of there. Easy. And with that much play in the system, I was able to reach over here. I was able to reach over to this side and take out the sprocket carrier plate. I guess if I had taken the chain off before this, it would have been a little easier, but okay, I got that out. We got our sprocket carrier plate here. Let's pull this sprocket off. Also, don't lose this. This spacer goes on the back side of the plate and plugs in like that. So it interfaces with this bearing right here on the wheel. Okay, so we're gonna have to get these locking tabs off of the sprocket. Okay, these should all be free now. So I'm going to grab a socket and start breaking them loose. Alright, I got all these loose with my nice impact system. Okay, here's the sprocket free from the plate. I should also mention that while you have the this apart, it's a great time to inspect your wheel bearings and see if they need to be replaced. There's one bearing in here, and then there's one bearing on either of the sides of the actual wheel hub itself. These bearings feel a little worn, not horrible though. I'm probably going to be replacing them soon though, and they do still have some grease in them, so I'm going to leave them be for now. Alright, let's compare these sprockets for size. Okay, they're the exact same amount of teeth. I lined up all the teeth on there. So that's good. Just look at the difference in these teeth. Look at these ones. How they're worn unequally. This side is just worn so far back. And then there's a second wear pattern on the top of each tooth where the chain was probably slipping off or something. And then look at these ones. Solid gear teeth, no wear as yet. Okay, fits on there properly. There's no wiggle room at all, which is good for an aftermarket part. You can never be sure with aftermarket parts if you're going to get something good or not. So I'm just going to slide these bolts back through. Put the nuts on them, torque them down. Okay, so to get the chain out, I have to take off this sprocket cover, which means that the foot peg and shifter have to come off as well, because they're both in the way of it coming out of there. Now note that this is going to be held on by the clutch right here, by the clutch cable, so it won't come off all the way. You can just set it down to the side. Okay, it took me a little while to find that master link in the chain, but I did. So now I'm going to pull the chain through and get it out of here. Okay, here's our old chain. Pretty nasty, really. Rusty, floppy, very used up. I'm going to set the sprocket over here. And then this bag came with a set of new chain right here. Came with a new master link right here. Okay, so I counted it out. It's 48 double links. So I'm going to take this over to the grinder, grind these two nubs off the end of the link here, and then this should slide out. And I should be left with the correct end to fit my master link to. Okay, so I just cut the chain to length. I'm going to stick the sprocket hub back into the wheel here, and then I can try routing the chain and see if it's the correct length. Alright, here we go. I'm going to put in the master link now. Put it in from the back side so it's easy to access later on. And the thing with chain master links that everyone on every YouTube video has probably already told you is you want to have the closed end of the master link facing forwards towards the direction of chain travel. That makes it less likely to catch on something and pop off of there, which wouldn't be so good if it happened when you were riding. Okay, master link is secure. There's a good amount of slop in the chain, so it should be pretty easy to adjust that slop out of the chain and have a pretty good tight-fitting chain at long last. Okay, so I put all that stuff on there back together, and looks like I got a good chain now. Good chain, good sprocket. I think it's a pretty acceptable amount of tension on there. It might be a little low, I'm not sure. Eventually I'll have to adjust it anyway because it's going to run out a little bit and stretch. So I'm going to fire up the bike really quick and we'll see how it rolls. Seems to roll pretty happily. I'll have to take it out on the road pretty soon and give it a real test. But that's all for now. That's all for this video, so I'll see you guys next time. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me if this video was any help to you.